Hey everyone, here's Zane Charron, and I hope you're ready to get your funk out with this lesson about funk guitar, playing specifically a solo acoustic funk guitar. Funk guitar is usually played on electric with a band, bass, drums, singer, the whole 9 yards, maybe some horns, and it sounds really cool. However, on the acoustic guitar, if you're a solo performer, you need something else, okay? Because funk guitar is usually played just on the high strings. And just as a little side note, I'm going to use 4 chords throughout the song. And these are the same 4 chords used in the Daft Punk hit Get Lucky. Okay, and they are B minor, D, F sharp minor, and E. Okay, but first I'm going to show you how the original way was played. And it's something like this. Which is great if you're playing in a funk band with a bunch of other instruments. However, if you're playing solo acoustic guitar, we need to soup it up a bit. Okay, so we're going to take a look now at how we can do that close up on the guitar. Funk guitar is usually played on the electric. However, we can play it just as well on acoustic. One thing that characterizes this style of playing is that you're going to play almost exclusively on the high strings, not the low strings. That's why the band is there. That separation of high notes on the guitar and low notes on the bass guitar and the drum percussion is what gives it that sound. Now, as you're a solo acoustic player, you need to spice this up a little bit because it's really not going to work so well as a solo style. First, I'm going to show you how the original was played, something like this. And this pattern is going to be used throughout the rest of the tutorial. So check this out. We're not going to play B minor like this. You usually would in the standard position on the 7th fret. We're going to play a partial bar. First fingers covering the 7th fret on the top 3 strings, and the D string and the 9th fret with the ring finger. The other strings aren't going to be played. I usually mute them somehow here like this so that they're not going to be heard. Okay? So the pattern's going to go like this. Okay? It's going to go like this. So that's 2 downstrokes, followed by every time you're going to hit the strings, but only every 3 times you're going to press the chord down again to get this sound. Okay? It's going to sound like this. Okay? And that's the entire measure. Now you'll notice with the right hand, I'm playing this very loose, very relaxed. The right hand is super loose, okay? The pick I'm holding very lightly between my fingers, except when I have to actually play the notes of the chord. In that case, it's going to be held a little bit tighter. Okay, you really want to get a nice tight rhythm. I tend to not even really push the strings down all the way when I'm playing this fast, because I'm just getting this a little bit of muted sound of the chord. The next chord in the series is going to be not the standard D, like we would play it like this or like this, but rather just the 3 D, G, and B strings. The other ones are muted. You can see here, high E string's muted with that finger, the A string is going to be muted with this finger, okay, and the low E string with my thumb. So I'm going to be playing it like this. Okay. For example, the next chord is an F sharp minor, but we're not playing, once again, the low strings, and we're not playing the high E string either. I'm going to mute this somehow, either with the middle finger or using this finger, okay? So you're just getting these 3, and it's going to sound like... Okay, and the last chord is an E. Once again, this E, except I'm only going to play these 3 strings. The same chord we had down here with the D, but 2 frets higher. Okay, so all told, this sounds like this. Which would be great in a band setting. The problem is, as a solo acoustic player, we're going to have a hard time bringing across what we want as a whole band just playing that. Okay, so we're going to add 1 percussive hit in there. If you're not familiar with doing this kind of thing, check out my first advanced strumming techniques video called Percussive Strumming, and then you'll get how to do that, and then you can come back and check this out, okay? So by adding this on beats 2 and 4, we're going to get the imitation of a snare drum, okay? And it's going to sound like this. Okay, which already sounds pretty good if you take it through the chord progression. Okay, now you notice that I'm now playing these full bar chords. That's because we need these bass frequencies for our acoustic solo acoustic version. So I'm playing the B minor bar chord here, then I'm playing this D. Now I'm not playing the D like this, although you could potentially do that. I still like to avoid the high string here a little bit. I'm playing the D like this, which is covering the low E and A strings with the first finger and the D, G, and B with the ring finger. Okay, if you're not used to this position, give it a little time. Okay, the next chord I'm playing is this F sharp minor, way up high, or an F sharp minor 7, followed by the D, same form as here, just 2 frets higher. Okay, so all told, it sounds like this. Okay, now that would sound cool by itself. However, we can take this up a notch by adding a bass drum beat on the first and third beats of the measure. Okay, there's a tutorial number 3 or 4 or 5, I forget, called Percussive Strumming while muting. Percussive Strumming while muting. Check it out. This sound is what we want. You're covering the strings with this part of the hand way back at the bridge. And I'm just hitting the low strings here. So we're getting that sound. That is going to be played with the percussive beat on beats 2 and 4. Okay? So I'm going to play this slow, and it takes a little bit of practice to get this, I have to tell you, but it sounds really killer if you can get this groove going. So it goes like this. Okay? Now I'm going to play it up to speed with the rest of the chords. Okay, so that by itself would sound fantastic, I think, in an accompaniment setting. She's up all night to the sun, I'm up all night to get some. She's up all night for good fun, I'm up all night to get lucky. Okay, so that by itself would be a killer arrangement, okay? But there's a couple other things I'm going to show you that you could add maybe as instrumental. The first one is kind of adding a little bit of a moving bass line. To do this, you have to sacrifice a little bit of the funk, but as long as you keep the rhythm tight, you won't miss it, okay? So the bass line I'm going to play, and you can kind of choose your own notes if you want, but the one I kind of like is like this. Okay, and I'm going to kind of add this in a little bit. It's a little bit improvised as you go along, but this is kind of how it will sound. Okay, so that's a little bass line in there. Recently I discovered a little melodic line that you can put in here, maybe as an instrumental part. Okay, check this out. I'm going to start with the B minor, except I'm not playing B minor, I'm going to play B minor 7. Okay, just take the pinky off, because I want to get this little melody in here. Okay, and I'm going to play all these melodies on the upstroke, so it's always going to be in between the beat, okay, which makes it really convenient for us to play this, okay? So the first part is going to go like this. No, not like that. Okay, now the logical note to go to here is this one. However, we can't get it with this form, so we're actually going to momentarily go to this one, okay? Just the A form moved up. Okay, but then I have to change it quickly because you'll see why. Okay, so now we have this form, and then I'm going to continue. But I have to change it quickly because the next idea is that one. Okay, in order to get that, I have to really stretch with the pinky, so it goes like this. Okay, and there's a quick jump up to the F sharp minor 7. Check this out. So we're going to go from here. Okay, our melody note is right there. I kind of like doing this. Back to our E, and then check this out. Okay, so that's kind of some different ideas that you can put in there. Okay, the basic groove, if you get that, then you're good to go. I hope that video was useful to you guys on learning to get your funk out. Check out some of my other videos for more performances and lessons. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like it and you want to see more, and I'll see you again soon.